Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show, your one-stop shop for everything rugby league. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy this video. Yes, let's get to it. Everything rugby league. Well, we're going to talk about Andrew Johns and what he thinks about the Knights. Is that a real deal with one of our viewers' comments? Payne Huss, what's doing there? The Western Force want him. Tino signing a 10-year contract. Is it worth it? Can Kalen Ponga take the Knights all the way to the grand final? The Melbourne Storm, are they the sleeping giants of this competition? Daniel Anderson, the round of Daniel Anderson coming up. And Cameron Ciraldo, is he a great coach like they're saying he is? Well, we're going to talk about it all here on the Barry Charles Footy Show. Let's get to it. Yes, first of all, we're going to talk about one of the comments that I got from History of Football. Yes, Andrew Johns compares Newcastle to the Tigers of 05 and the Eels of 09. The way they run home, 6 in a row. You could argue the Warriors on a similar with their 5 wins in a row. But let's get to what Andrew Johns believes that the Knights can win the comp from here. Well, let's put it into perspective. You're kidding me. No chance. No chance for you Knights fans out there they're going to win the comp. They are not going to win the comp. If they win the comp, I'll be absolutely stunned. I'll be stunned if they get past week 2 of the finals. They have to win their home. If they get a home game in the first week of the finals, which is a possibility at the moment. It's a big game this weekend to find out against the Rabbitohs. But to me, yes, there's no way you can compare them to the Tigers and Eels. There's no way they are going to be winning this competition in 2023. I think there's better teams around and more chance of winning the comp. Obviously, Penrith and Broncos are the obvious ones, but the Warriors are definitely in there. And now the Storm is starting to become a contender as well. But yes, no chance that the Knights are going to win this competition. Even if Kalen Ponga is absolutely on fire, I know Jared Hayne did it. Billy Slater believes that Kalen Ponga, if he continue to play this sort of form, that they could be dangerous in the final. Yes, I think there will be a danger in this finals, but you could say that about a lot of teams. You look at Pappenhausen, comes back from the Melbourne Storm. That is a big key. Well, let's get to Melbourne Storm right here, right now. Why not? Melbourne Storm are flying under the radar in 2023. Virtually no one pretty much has said they can win the comp. They say they can be in the finals, but nobody's saying they can win the comp. But what the Storm have, there maybe no other club has, is they have top quality players in the spine in all 4 positions, and one is about to return. So they've got Jerome Hughes, who's Mr. Consistent. Then you got Cameron Munster, they can do something out of nothing. You got Harry Grant, who's arguably in the top 5 best players all year. He's been outstanding the last few years, Harry Grant. Definitely the best hook in the game by a country mile. And then you got the X factor of Ryan Pappenhausen. If he returns to full fitness, the Storm are the Smoky that win the premiership. Yes, the Storm could win the premiership if Ryan Pappenhausen comes back and explodes out of the gate. Because that is certainly what the Melbourne Storm have been missing to take them to the next level and win. And he's been injury prone quite a lot the last few years. When they made the finals, they haven't had Pappenhausen ready to rock and roll. Is this the year that they can finally go to the promised land for you Storm fans? I'm not going to say they're not going to win it for me, but they are definitely starting to say that they're the only other team that maybe can make the grand final. Because I don't think anyone from the bottom 5 is going to make a push for the grand final this season, the way they're playing. Let's get to obviously the big stories. Tino signing a 10-year, $12 million contract. Well done. Let's say well done to Tino. But is it a great buy? Well, time will tell. You could argue Tom Lolo started off pretty good, but are they really getting the best out of him now? He hasn't been the greatest the last year or so. So there's an argument there. But Tino is definitely one of the top props in the game, no doubt about it. But if he's worth that much, how much is Payne Huss worth? That's another question you got to ask. How much is Fonua Blake worth? Because, yes, Fonua Blake is the best player in the competition. In the prop position. That's an argument you can argue, but he played absolutely brilliant on the weekend, over 270 metres. Unbelievable try. He was the best Warriors player for them. Absolutely outstanding. So if Tino's getting that money, what does Fonua Blake go through in his next contract? Because he is playing outstanding footy. Obviously, so is Payne Haas. But yes, in terms of the 10-year deal for me, I don't see it being that wise. Because you could get injured at any moment. He could be injury played for 5 seasons. Just look at Tommy Turbo, for instance. And you're signing these players for this long if they get injury prone. I mean, it could work out brilliantly, but people say, well, Cherry Evans has been a success. No, he hasn't. He has not been a success. A success wins premierships. Ask the Dragons with Ben Hunt. They sign these guys to big contracts. They don't deliver. I'm not saying that Cherry Evans is a bad player, but I'm saying if you're going to pay so much for these players to win, they've got to deliver you the premiership. Not many of these players can deliver you the premiership. We're going to find out who's going to deliver a premiership. Can Tino deliver you a premiership? I don't think so. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. You need him in the team, but you need more than just Tino to win a comp. So, to me, it's just too much money for a prop. But hey, that's the way, my opinion on that one. You might have a different opinion. But yes, now, is Fonua Blake the best in the game? So obviously, the ones that are trying to compete with him, you can argue Tapane. So there's a New Zealander there. The Tongan of Fonua Blake. And then Payne Haas. And obviously, Tino are probably the top 4 main props in the competition. You can argue another 20 players on this list, but these are when they're on their top 4, they're probably the top 4 ones in the comp. And that's leaving out. And you got to add James Fisher-Harris and Moses Leota. Have to add them into the list. They definitely deserve to be mentioned as well. But yes, to me, Fonua Blake is the best prop in the game at the moment. Payne Haas has been the most consistent all year, but Fonua Blake can probably do more than what Payne Haas can do. But for him, he needs to continue to improve to do it each and every week. And this has been his best season for Fonua Blake for a while. But he's been pretty consistent. But if he can continue to push out 200 metres every week, well, the Warriors will be getting excited. Yes. Daniel Anderson, yes, so the feel-good story of the round here. Daniel Anderson, if you're going to the game in New Zealand, you're going to be here in the Daniel Anderson Stadium instead of Go Media Stadium for this round. So it's been named after him. So that was a good shout-out from the Warriors, so well done there. Yep, if you're going to the game and you can donate to the Daniel Anderson Fund, it will be much appreciated. He's going through hard times, obviously, with the injury from the simple thing is body surf. Any of us, it can happen to any of us. We're just going out for a nice swim, body surf, and next minute, we're injured and can't walk and all that stuff. So any help you can help out there is much appreciated for the man himself. And now finally, Cameron Ciraldo. What is doing here? The Bulldogs have absolutely imploded. They're probably lucky they're not going to be the wooden spoon because they probably deserve to be. Actually, if you look at the whole season, I think West Tigers have played better than the Bulldogs. Just the Bulldogs have managed to get more wins, obviously. So that's you're kidding me. That's what people are going to be saying. But the West Tigers, in a lot of their games, have been quite competitive, but just not been able to win. Where the Bulldogs had a bit of that, but when they've lost, they have lost horrendous. And a lot of times, I mean, Tigers had one big loss to the Cowboys, but they haven't had a lot of big losses this season. They gave the Rabbitohs a good game and lost 20-0. So this is just showing you where I think if you're looking at improvements for next season, I expect Tigers to improve more than the Bulldogs at this stage, even though Bulldogs have got some good signings. Cameron Ciraldo has to get himself nailed this thing. If he needs players to go, they got to go. And that's what I mean. If you're going to be a coach and you need to make big changes, you've got to make the big changes. And whether some of the big players are not performing for whatever reason, they're not buying into your philosophy, they've got to go out the door. Yes. So I'm expecting some of the Bulldogs players will be more taps on the shoulder. They'll be off and gone. Well, Luke Thompson's going to be obviously one that's going to be gone, but there's going to be plenty more on the way out. So the Bulldogs really need to find their identity. And I honestly think their best playing day since Des Hasler was gone was with Dean Pay. I actually thought they were playing some good footy under Dean Pay, but he was never given the opportunity to sign in the checkbook, which Trent Barrett got, and they continue to get worse and worse. Trent Barrett and now Cameron Ciraldo's come on. They've got worse every year, just about. The Bulldogs, Josh Adokar must be itching his head. Why did I come to the Bulldogs? Hopefully they can turn it around, Bulldogs fans, next season, because they really need to, because they have been dreadful for a long time, and it's time for them to ship up and shape out. But anyway, that's me from the Barry Charles Footy Show. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, share this video with all your friends out there, and I'll return again for another video shortly.